The Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus prayed, I have made your name known to those whom you gave me from the world. They were yours, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word. Now they know that everything you have given me is from you. For the words that you gave to me I have given to them, and they have received them, and know in truth that I came from you, and they have believed that you sent me. I am asking on their behalf. I am not asking on behalf of the world, but on behalf of those whom you gave me, because they are yours. All mine are yours, and yours are mine. And I have been glorified in them. And now I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, protect them in your name that you have given me, so that they may be one as we are one. While I was with them, I protected them in your name that you have given me. I guarded them, and not one of them was lost. But now I am coming to you, and I speak these things in the world, so that they may have my joy made complete in themselves. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. I am not asking you to take them out of the world, but I ask you to protect them from the evil one. They do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. Sanctify them in the truth. Your word is truth. As you have sent me into the world, so I have sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, so that they also may be sanctified in truth. The Gospel of the Lord. Pastor, will you say a few words? I've never known exactly what is meant by this request, admits one minister turned seminary president. Do they want me to say a few words of inspiration, prophecy, consolation, biblical theology, or maybe just a few words about how much I appreciate the person who asked me to say a few words? Or maybe the important point is to use only a few words. In my experience, those few words usually involve prayer. And as a pastor, I seem to do a lot of praying during worship, of course, or at the hospital bedside of someone about to have surgery, but also at the family dinner table where the collar is off and the out-of-office email reply is set, and you'd think I was on vacation until, without fail, as we're getting ready to eat, all eyes turn toward the pastor in the family to say a few words. As though I have some special magic or a more direct route to God. Spoiler alert, I don't. Perhaps with the exception of that latter example, though, when I'm called upon to say a few words and to offer a prayer, I'm invited into some of the most sacred moments of people's lives, entrusted with their deepest concerns, fears, and joys, and holding it all before God. To be so entrusted with someone's concerns and joys and to pray for them is the gift of the community of faith. And what's interesting is that the more I pray, the more I believe prayer is not powerful so much because of the one who we're addressing our prayers to, though that is significant, but more so because of who we're addressing our prayers among. What exactly does it mean to pray for someone? Certainly it can mean folding our hands and closing our eyes and bowing our heads and beginning with "Dear God" and ending with "Amen." And I think it can also be as simple as being present with the person we're praying for. Jesus' prayer for his disciples might better be described as Jesus' prayer with his disciples. This is not the Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus goes off at a distance by himself to pray while the disciples can hardly keep their eyelids open. No, this is a prayer spoken by Jesus within earshot of the ones he is praying for. In the midst of complicated emotions, the deep anguish before his arrest, and the sense that his time among his beloved friends is coming to an end, Jesus doesn't offer another miracle or parable or teaching, but a prayer that is more profound and more needed than anything else Jesus could have done for them. Jesus prays on behalf of his disciples, the one that he calls friends just moments before. He offers them a reminder of their belonging to God and commends them to the loving protection and care of God, even as he himself is about to leave them. And he prays for their unity, the unity of Jesus with his Father, the unity of the disciples with Jesus, a profound experience of an intimate relationship with God, a relationship built on the promise of Jesus that we heard just last week: abide in my love. Where the world has dealt the disciples uncertainty and fear and confusion and despair, Jesus offers his presence, his blessing, his prayer for them. Jesus offers his disciples more than just a few words. He shows them a God who prays for them. Jesus' prayer for his disciples happens in their very midst. They are meant to overhear this prayer for them. For the disciples, it's a time of transition and anxiety, unsure about what the future will bring in the absence of their closest friend and teacher. And in that moment, Jesus prays for them and with them. If you've ever asked someone to pray for you, you know how powerful it is to be prayed for, to be so surrounded by their love and care, as if they are saying to you, always remember that I am remembering you. And of course, it's a vulnerable thing to let ourselves be prayed for. It's so much easier to pray for others, to hear their concerns and joys, and to say a few words. But to be on the receiving end of that prayer is something else entirely. It reminds us that we are not alone. Recently, since I've started working more in my office during the week, as I pack up at the end of a long day and head out to my car to go home, I've started taking the occasional detour to our outdoor worship area. No phone, no inbox, no agenda, just stillness and quiet. In those moments of rest just between God and me, I remember what it is like to be prayed for, as one whose job it typically is to do the praying. In those moments, I experience the presence and the power of the God who prays for me. No words necessary. It is a beautiful and holy thing to pray for someone else and to be so connected in that web of mutual support within the community of faith. It is also a beautiful and holy thing to be prayed for, to rest in the presence of the one who cares so deeply for us, to overhear the God who prays for us.